Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Conversations That Matter Most. My name is Claudette Chenevert, and I'm known as the Stepmom Coach. And I'm here with the wonderful, amazing Sharona. And hi, Sharona.
Hi, Claudette. Ooh, I'm amazing. Boy, that's pressure. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode. I am Sharona, and I am known as the MidLife Women Dancing with Change Specialist. Woohoo!
Woohoo! And so today, we wanted to talk about, spring is here, at least for us. In some part of the world, other places it's still snowing, which is not us, right, Sharona?
No, not us. Not us. No.
No.
And I think in the Southern Hemisphere, it's starting fall. So,
Yeah, exactly. So, where we are is spring.
yes.
And so, which also means pollen and allergies and sore throat. Last time I spoke, I had like humongous sore throat. So now I have my bottle of water. So if I choke, at least I can drink, right?
Right. I know, and I forget I have allergies. Sometimes I just forget, and I'm going, why do I feel so icky? I know I don't have a cold. I now know the difference between cold and flu symptoms, and then I realize, oh, yeah, grass. Grass is blooming. Trees are blooming.
Flowers are
Are
blooming.
blooming. The lemon tree is blooming. Lemon tree, very pretty.
Oh, I love that song. That's a nice song.
Anyway, came into my head. Oh, I snorted. Yay. Anyway.
All right. So today we want to talk about happiness. And so obviously we're like happy. Well, and I'm always happy doing these. It's nothing really hard for me. But one of the things I think we wanted to share, Sharona and I, is, about the concept of, there's a lot of talk about happiness. And is there a pressure for us to be happy all the time? And I loved our conversation before we went live talking about, the pressure of happiness, because sometimes we just don't want to be happy. And we just like feel like I want to just wallow in my misery. Mind you, it doesn't do us very good, but in the long run, it won't do us any good. It's nice to be happy. So, just to sit on the stage here. First of all, if this is the first time you've seen us, yay! Thank you for being here. What a great way to meet us. And if you've been with us before, yay! Thank you for coming back. We're really happy to have you. And, just a little history about why Sharona and I started to do this is we were having these conversations and these really meaningful conversations. And then one day we decided, like, why not share these conversations with other people? And the purpose of these conversations isn't to try to persuade you to think like us or to, have you like really be upset about, the way you're living your life. The purpose of our conversations is to spark a conversation with you and other people, or to at least help you to think a little deeper about different things that happen in our lives. So, Sharina, do you want to add anything to this?
No, I think you covered it. I think excuse me. I think for me it also to help the midlife women to understand, and you with stepmoms to understand that a lot of times we're so rushed and we're trying to do too much like the pursuit of happiness, that we sometimes don't have time to really have a deep conversation with other people, but also with ourselves. So a lot of times this might be starting to help you ponder things a little bit deeper, to saying, wait, is that what's happening in my life, in my midlife, in my step family? So I think that's another way to look at this.
Yeah, definitely. And I love what you said, we're so busy, doing a whole bunch of stuff that sometimes, you know, we forget to just sit down and take the pulse of where we are at this moment. And I think this is especially true when there's a lot of stuff going in your life. Like for midlife women, I can see for you where you're working with midlife women, they've lived so much of their life. All of a sudden, they've taken care of their kids, they've had careers, they may be switching careers, they may be in a new romantic life, or they're looking at their partner and their spouse and thinking, wow, is this it? And so, sometimes we are rushing through life to get somewhere without realizing, well, what is it I want? What's the purpose? Where is it that I'm heading? And a lot of us are looking to be happy, to have like that sense of, I'm feeling good about myself, things are going well. And for stepmoms, the same thing. Like you build and create this new family, and you want to be happy in this family. You want to have a sense of belonging. You want to have a sense of purpose within this family. But sometimes it doesn't happen that way, and so you're sitting there and you're wondering, okay, so is this it? Is this like what life is all about, and what all the stuff I've been doing in the past, is this it?
Yeah, and I think one of the things is, I'm just, as you were talking, something popped into my head, which does happen sometimes, is that we forget that happiness is an emotion, and we made it to think it's a state of being. But being happy is an emotion. There we can have a myriad of different description of emotions, but I like it when it comes down to the four: mad, glad, sad, and fear. So really, if you basically look at, and we can have little tweaks in how, but happiness is not, we can't, it's like people who are positive, always positive, looking for the positive all the time. And then when we come in contact with not feeling happy or not feeling we think we're doing something wrong. And I think one of the things is we need to ask ourselves, what would, if we really had happiness in our life, in our step family, in our midlife, in our work, what would that look like on a daily basis? What is happiness? It's even in our Constitution, the pursuit of happiness. Well, what the heck does that mean? I have no idea. I'm not happy 100% of the time. I'm also dealing with sadness and anger and all kinds of things. And I remember, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he started the nonviolent communication. And instead of calling it happiness, he called it celebration. Celebration, including grief. So, you celebrate grief. You don't celebrate grief, but happiness is, again, is an emotion. So what does happiness, the pursuit of happiness, mean for you personally?
And I like that, you talked about, like, first of all, that's an emotion and not a state of being. And I think just that helps to understand that all emotions come and go, they ebb and flow. And I think as a human being, it's okay and normal to have a wide range of emotions. Otherwise, there are other issues that can come with a lack of a variety of emotions. And the other thing, asking ourselves, what does happiness mean to me? You know, you being happy is going to be very different than me being happy, than my husband being happy, than my kids being happy, than my neighbor being happy. We all have a definition that pertains to us, and happiness is a personal definition. Another point I wanted to bring is, one of the persons that, well, one of the things I love to listen to is TED Talks, and I think I may have mentioned that before. And I was listening to Matt Udical, who talks about happiness and the study of happiness. And I think part of what he shared is that, in order for any of our emotions to move forward in our life, I think it starts with being aware of where we are at this moment. Meaning, aware of when we're happy, what's going on. Aware of when we're sad, what is going on. And not necessarily blame or attach it to other people, or saying it's because I'm with this person that I'm happy, because then you're giving away your power and your responsibility to someone else in making your life the way you want it to be.
Yeah, that's a good point, Claudette. It's that, others cannot make me happy.
Just like they can't make you mad either, right?
No. One time I've heard this thing is, as children, as young people, we will say, you're making me happy, or you're making me mad, or you. As adults, it's going, I'm feeling unhappy or happy. I'm feeling mad. What is that about? So we have to, nobody else can do that for us. We think they can, but they can't. They're not in charge of our emotions.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add, because one of the things that, as in the beginning of our relationship, my husband would say to me, "You make me so mad," and I said, "Wow, thank you for all that power, but I think I'm gonna give it back to you," because it was funny, and he wasn't finding it funny at the time, but today we laugh about it. But one of the things is like giving that power to another person. You're making me happy, you're making me sad, you're making me angry. You're in essence giving that your power to someone else of how you're going to feel or react.
Yeah, right. And here's the thing is, all our emotions, and I've said this before and it really resonates for me, maybe it'll resonate for other people, but our emotions are messengers. They're giving us signals of what is in alignment and what is out of alignment within ourselves. So for instance, when we're feeling happy or joy or bliss or whatever that is, it means everything is in sync. We're in sync with our insides to our outsides. Everything is flowing. And anger is when someone crosses a personal boundary, or fear is when you don't feel safe, or whatever that is. So happiness is, again, it could be that I'm feeling happy when I'm with you because we're in sync, or it's just like I get very giddy when we do these episodes, because it's fun. We get to, think, we process, we get to play. All that brings a sense of happiness and joy. Even like today, when I'm feeling a little bit tired and I'm feeling a little bit itchy high, I still can have that moment, of, yeah, I'm acknowledging I'm feeling tired, but I'm happy to be in doing this at this moment.
Yeah.
Right. So that's, I think, one of the things we need to look at is, when whatever emotion you're feeling, even happiness, it's letting you know that everything is okay.
Yeah.
I think happiness is that letting you know everything is in sync and step, working smoothly.
Yeah, and you bring up some great points, that, it changes. It can change really fast. Like, this morning I was like, oh, do I have to do this? Where am I going? And, it felt like I had a lot to do. But then coming together, doing this episode with you, it's true. When there's a synchronicity, when you're aligned with your values and your beliefs, and there's something that you're doing that you really enjoy doing, it helps to bring up that happiness moment. One of the things for me that brings a lot of happiness and joy is when I'm playing with my grandkids, especially when I have the time to do it. And that's the same thing. I love having conversations. Not surprising we're doing these kinds of episodes, right?
Right.
But I love deep, meaningful conversations. And when we have them, or when I have them, there's this sense of fulfillment within me. And so it really fills me up with happiness. And so I know we're using a lot of different terms. And although they each have their own definition, I mean, if we put them in a big bucket and just call it happiness and fulfillment and a sense of satisfaction, I think we can say, yeah, that, that they all can marry together and create the kind of moments that can fill our life and make that part of the day really enjoyable.
Yeah, I agree. And I think one of the things is, as you were talking, Claudette, one of the things I realized too is that within that bucket of happiness, we can throw in contentment and a sense of serenity. No, and being serene. Because I know a lot of times we think being happy has to be this big thing, but it could be these very quiet little moments when we are honoring where we are in the moment. Like, so for instance, I might have to take a nap this afternoon because I am tired. So if I take the nap, I wake up. Usually what happens, and I love naps. Usually when I wake up, I feel calm, a sense of peace. I feel serene. And I could call that being happy in the moment because I honored what I needed to do for myself to be in sync with what was being asked from my body, my mind, and my heart.
Yeah, and we talked about this before. For me, naps is like a punishment. It's like, oh no, I don't want to take a nap. But if I don't take a nap, it's not gonna go well. The day is definitely not gonna go well. And so that's the difference between my husband and I. He loves naps, so just like you. But for me, it's like, oh my God, I can't do this. And the thing is that when I do take a nap, I get up grumpy. I get up like feeling like I've wasted my precious afternoon. It doesn't fill me up like it does for you or even my husband. And so, and this is a good point in that, things that we do doesn't necessarily mean they're good for everybody.
Right. What? Yeah. The golden rule, treat others like they treat themselves. I'm sure we've heard that one. I have another rule that says treat others like they want to be treated.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Because if I treat you like I want to be treated, you have to then be, like for instance, if I'm going to argue now that naps are awesome, what do you think, what are you talking about there? And I'm thinking that's not, I have to honor where you are. Naps don't work for you. Naps work for me. Some people, running 50,000 miles works for them. Doing dancing for 6 hours works for me. Again, happiness is a very personal thing. It's a value. If it's a value to you, it's going to need to be in alignment of your beliefs and values and skills. And I just thought of this. Another thing about happiness is if you're using skills and your talents that that you do naturally, that come to you, and you feel strong when you use them, you feel happy, and then you're using skills or talents that you know how to do but makes you feel like for me, math, but dancing makes me feel wonderful. So here's the thing is, again, it's a personal choice. I think it's a personal choice what happiness means for each of us. And we need to decide what that is and how to enfold that into our life, especially if we're coming into a new family or we're going out of a family. And how do we incorporate the value or the feeling of happiness to build a stronger, thriving step family, or thriving wholeheartedly in our midlife.
Yeah, yeah, it's true, right? Everything is about what makes us, fulfilled.
Yes.
And you bring good points that we're different. And as you shared this, I am thinking, and this happens a lot in step families and in midlife as well, where people will tell you you should be doing this
Yes.
because that'll make you happy, or this will work for you because I know it works for me, it's gonna work for you. No, 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 not always. You could suggest, you could say, this has worked for me. You might consider it. But when you're suggesting or giving advice to someone, and you're telling them this is what you should be doing, then you're just pushing your own values and beliefs on someone else. And when it comes to being happy, it's definitely a matter of yourself. Like, what do you enjoy doing? And
Yeah. Claudette, I'm just laughing. I recently had a conversation with this person, and he came upon some new kind of, energy work or something like that. And I was having a deep conversation about what I was going through. And right away, he was trying to change my languaging, and he was trying to tell me, oh, this is, and if you do this, your life is going to change. I'm thinking, oh my God, you're upselling me on what you think is going to help me be happy. And or back in the day when I became a vegetarian, I was told by all these people, it's not good, or how you're going to get your protein, and maybe you should do this. And I finally came, stop shitting on me. I don't want to shit on myself. I don't want you to shit on me. I'm going to do this because this is what my body wants. This is what feels right for me. You don't, so when people who are still omnivores, because they eat everything, and including meat, and they go, are you going to be offended if I eat meat? I don't care what you're doing. Just don't make me eat the meat. That's all I'm saying. So I just made me think of that is, yes, when people give unwanted advice about how we should be happy. And I think that goes with when we're dealing with depression or mental illness of some kind, and they go, well, or even losing weight, or trying to get better sleep. When they tell you, oh, well, what you should be doing is A, B, C, D. And it's like, no. Certain things you can't think yourself out. You got to go through the process with it.
and it's the same with raising stepkids.
Mm.
As you're like talking about, depression and mental illness, and your eating disorders, or just wanting to lose weight. People are very fast to tell you, oh, do this, do this. And that, being a parent is the same thing. So many people become experts in how to raise other people's kids. It's like, really? Like you're gonna be able to tell me how to raise these kids when you're not there 24/7. Maybe you don't even have kids of your own, or maybe you're not even a step parent, and you have no idea what it is like to have your kids in your home, not in your home, dealing with an ex, and maybe it could be these hypersensitive exes. Not all situations are bad and not all exes are awful, but we're just talking about those people that are dealing with situations that we're telling them this is what you should be doing. Like, no, no one is the expert in of your life
Mm.
as much as yourself. Now, it's true we do need some support. We need some guidance, and that's why both Sharona and I love coaching, is because we're there to guide you and ask you the questions to help you move forward, to find that happiness you're looking for in your life. Um,
Yeah, and also, you know what? And not only do Claudette and I like doing it, but finding sometimes we need to find a group to who are experiencing the same thing we are, who have the same kind of struggles we do. I know that I like to call them wisdom circles, and so creating that or creating those for yourselves, because sometimes when we're dealing with whatever is going on in our life, either midlife or in our step families, we get this feeling that we're alone and isolated. And sometimes just talking to like two other people, not asking for advice, like what we're doing here today, having conversations with other people who are dealing with the same struggles and challenges can help us come up with brainstorm ideas without going through a brainstorming session. Does that make sense? It's
mhm.
almost like we need each other to hear outside of ourselves other information so that we can then make a wise decision of how do we proceed forward.
Yeah, and it's true, right? Because sometimes when we're stuck in our heads with our talk, it's hard for us to see what's happening. And and again, I shared earlier about becoming aware, of what makes you happy and what makes you sad and what makes you mad. And so that creating that awareness, and sometimes in conversations in those wisdom circles, that's where that wisdom comes out by hearing other people share their story. And then you realize, wow, you know what? I hadn't realized that that's what I was doing in my life as well, and that would make sense. And so, creating that awareness for yourself through either a coach or wisdom circle will really help you to, give you back that power of you making the choices for your life, so that you can live the life that you want to create, and that you'll feel fulfilled and happy in.
I agree, and you know what? So as we start closing, cl- closing down the meat the session, coming down and 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 cut. One of the things that as viewers and midlife women and or stepmoms out there, you might want to take a moment, just a moment. I know we all got lots to do, but take a moment and say, ask yourself, in this moment, am I happy? If not, why not? What does happiness mean to me? What is that concept that I keep searching outside for, but is it something that I need to align within? Um, or another way of putting it, what's working and what's not working in my life?
Yeah. And I would also like to add to what you just shared, is that find a moment in your day where you were happy. It doesn't have to be very long. It could be something like, oh, that nice cup of coffee. Yes, I really enjoy that coffee. Or, I enjoy having that conversation like what we're having. Find that moment in your day, maybe your week, where you felt happy, and try to create like an understanding of what was it about that moment that made you happy, and see if you can recreate it or repeat it. So the more you are aware of what makes you happy, then you're able to create a habit of, moving forward and creating more happiness in your life.
Good tip. Good tip. And and as we I know that and I know Claudette does. So, share what you came up with or what is coming up for you as you ponder and have conversation about what happiness means to you personally. What would a happy family situation mean? That means you would have to check in with everybody in the household to find out what happiness means to them. That would be an interesting family thing. Um, of course, it's just me and my cat, so I know what my cat likes happiness. Oh, to be my cat would be very happy. Um, and then share with us and Claudette if they wanted, if stepmoms wanted to get more support and direction of how to bring happiness into for themselves and to their step families, how can they reach you?
Thanks, Sharona. So, if you're looking to create more joy and happiness in your step family, go to my website, stepmomcoach.com, and there you can download a free ebook for yourself called Words of Hope, Inspiration, and Wisdom. That's free for you to download. And if you want to talk more or, just have a conversation on ways to create more happiness and joy, email me at Claudette at stepmomcoach.com, and I'll be happy to talk with you. And Sharona, how about you? Like, if I'm a midlife woman and I'm sitting here and saying, is this it? Is this what being a midlife is all about? Where can they find you to have like help and support from you?
Well, thanks, Claudette. So you could reach me at Sharona at dancingforchange2thrive.com. And that's also my website, dancingwithchange2thrive.com. There's a free little download called Courage, Risk, and Rewards that you can download. It's a free little special report. And you can also contact me through Google Plus, through Facebook with the moniker. Is that a word? Midlife Women Dancing with Change. And then also you can reach me at Twitter and LinkedIn at Consult Sharona. So any of those ways you can ask for, see if I can be of service to you. And here's the thing: is each day we can take actions to support ourselves as midlife women to create to have a second or third act or stage, whatever you want to call that, that is going to may look different, but bring some of the stuff that really matters to us most. And I love helping midlife women find that or rediscover or reclaim it as they move forward. So they thrive wholeheartedly in body, mind, and spirit. And so I want to thank you, Claudette, for another joyful and fun and informative conversation about happiness.
Thank you, Sharona. And again, thank you everyone for being here. Again, as Sharona said, leave your comments in the little box below. Share it with your friends, your family, and on social media. And come back next time where we'll share with you more conversations that matter most. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye, everybody.